We interrupt our program to bring you this important message.
I'm back.
Anywhere you meet me, guaranteed to go
I like
down.
the way you ride with that booty on me.
It's going down.
Go down while you looking lonely.
It's going down.
Come around and it's all on me.
Anywhere you meet me, guaranteed to go down.
So, new year, new intro. Let's get it. I'm not so sure if I'm going to promise to be a brand new me this year, but my reactions are going to be a lot differently. I'm not going to be doing the most. I'm not going to be doing above and beyond, and I'm going to stay in my lane. That is how 2026 is going to be from here out. Either roll with me or I'm going to roll over you or around you. Whichever is easier.
Okay, she headed to the dance floor and she slowly started popping it. Song like my wrist piece, everybody got to watching it. Girl, you got that secret treasure, I'm gon' put a lock on it. Don't care what they say, I wouldn't stupid to be not on it.
Watch me flex. It's only been 2 months since I had to say goodbye to really the love of my life. I firmly believe that starting your day with a positive intention sets that intention over the whole entirety of the day. I started a grateful list, a blessings list, and I continue or intend to continue to add to it. And I'm going to share this with you today. The music may seem weird, but that's basically just the sound waves, the light waves, as we see them and perceive them as sound from the rings of Saturn. Kind of weird, but it's fitting, ain't it? I miss Ethel, but she wasn't here for a long time, but I got to experience her stinky breath and all. She still loved me even though I didn't clean her teeth well. She loved me even when I didn't clean her spot on the couch fast enough. But she never would put her head down in a bowl, so she ate on a paper towel on a couch, a velvet couch at that, but I digress. I have had the love of my life, and I'm so glad, and I would not trade that for anything. I lead with calmness and clarity, but will punch you in the face if necessary. I miss my mom. I'm proud. She gave birth to me and gave me all that she could. You know, y'all, I'm not really sure if I miss my father, but I will always respect how smart he was and his hustle. His sisters suck ass, though. I have waves of sadness, but because the happiness or presence is no longer here, I never would not want to experience the happiness. I am always grateful for opportunities and will never waste them. I am grateful to every contractor who have been craftsmen who have worked on my home. I get to have a staycation every day. I really am grateful for that. I get the opportunity to experience life and create content that brings joy. I get to figure out how to get it to the widest audience. I am thankful for love, my dog, my mother, family, and God. I feel that nearness every day. I still firmly believe and still am in a state of grief. I think grief is ghetto, but I'm getting better at not being okay. And what I've found is even though sometimes I'm sad, I'm still able to continue on and do what I need to do. And I don't have to just fall apart in tears and ugly cries. And even in spite of a setback, it's a setup, I think, for greater things. I thought of and started to create a wellness retreat because I think my path to healing, although it's kind of long and it's been a little bit back and forth, I've still found it solace in therapy, in meditation, and those things, and getting into a routine where I still practice what I preach and what I want my ethos to really be from my Afro Druid standpoint, and been able to help with the help of AI. I've been able to create some great content and come up with a whole bunch of ideas. But in the midst of that, people are still out here scamming and they don't care. All I can hear when all of this shit is going on is spin that shit, spin that shit. And I'm just tripping. Where were all of y'all when I didn't have almost 800 credit score? Why are y'all trying to come after me while I'm up? And even though I'm grieving. And I have not, and I think it is our responsibility. You got to let people in to actually help you get to where you got to go. But at the same time, you still have to be on guard because there are a lot of scamming motherfuckers out there. I created a ad that if it had gone, it could have gone viral. I could have had a full contingency of people that were wanting to heal like myself. However, and a wait list. However, it was taken over by a bunch of scammers selling janky clothes out of Vietnam. They got me for almost $7,000 and they were just running it, y'all, running it on my dime, taking over something that was supposed to be positive and to promote healing, but was causing me anxiety and heartburn. And good news is, although I wanted to cuss Ashley and them out over at Social Link, I got all my money back. I found out how to create a police report, and Officer Scott from Chattanooga PD was really nice, but I knew I was a dumbass for clicking on shit that I ain't need to be clicking on. And that's the bottom line. But they kept coming after me. I have changed my password so many times in the past 2 weeks. It has been crazy. And I get more gangster every time I have to. But then there's certain things that I need to do. Don't click on something that don't sound right. Meta, Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, they're not going to send you warnings and notices from rando people's Messenger and LinkedIn Messenger. That's not a thing. They don't need nobody else's help. Sterling Thomas and them, they don't need your help. I'm sorry. They just don't. But then they tried me again while I'm sleeping. I'm not trying to access my accounts first thing in the morning. Even when my worst, I'm not on social media, even though like last week, a post on Instagram about a corgi that had abdominal surgery triggered a crying jag. I'm not up this week. First thing in the morning, strolling Facebook. I'm not trying to get access to Facebook in the first thing in the morning. So I woke up this morning with some dumbness in my feed. I get this message. A message from Meta and not some random account is locked. In order to get back in, please log in from device you usually use and then change your password, all within the platform. I didn't have to go to some weird other link. I didn't have to enter and re-enter a password because these motherfuckers are not only capturing passwords, they're collecting cookies and they're continuing their attack. And I'm wondering, why are they continuing the attack on me? Because everything is shut down. I don't have an ad account. You can't create another ad account. I've created out cookies from the past month. You need to stop tripping and get your own thing. Even though weeks ago, even last week, this would have sent me into a spiral because of what I was actually and have been going through for the past month. But this is where the newness comes in. And I'm just going to read you a little bit from my blog post from this morning. And I might add, I'm probably going to upload this as part of the podcast notes because I still did not break my morning ritual before I logged on and took care of the nonsense. I got a notification that another attempted hacker, another password change required, another flag on the play. A few months ago, this would have triggered, actually a few weeks ago, last week actually, would have triggered an immediate surge of cortisol, a frantic rush to the laptop, fingers flying over the keys in a state of high alert panic. But panic is exactly what leaves you vulnerable. It creates the noise that hackers thrive on. It makes you prone to mistakes. Instead of engaging in digital mud wrestle immediately, I had to chill out. I saw the notification, I acknowledged the threat, and then I went back to my ritual. 1 minute of meditation, a focused 60-second reset to center the mind and quiet the alarm bells. I still drank my warm lemon water to hydrate and alkaline the system after a night of rest. And then I drank my morning clarity tea. It is a combination of ginger, rosemary, and basil. By the time I sat down to tackle the security issue, I wasn't reacting from a place of fear. I was acting from a place of clarity. The hacker was just another task on the list, a minor annoyance to be dealt with efficiently and then discarded. The ROI of the ritual is we often think of morning rituals as soft or indulgent, but in reality, a morning ritual is a high yield investment in your tactical awareness. When you spend your first waking hour in a state of unhurried intention, you are hardening your mental targets. You are training your brain to distinguish between a genuine emergency and a digital distraction. This is the return on investment, the ability to maintain digital security through emotional stability. If you're constantly reactive, you are essentially leaving your back door wide open. You are giving the world and the scammers the keys to your cognitive focus. By reclaiming that first hour, you are installing a mental firewall that no script can bypass. The mental clarity defense is ginger for fire and metabolic activation, rosemary for cognitive clarity and memory retention, basil for adaptogenic support against stress, and lemon for a clean, bright finish. Steep these together or separately like I do. While you take 1 minute of silence, feel the perimeter of your mind solidify. Once the digital fires are out and the hackers have been sent packing back into the void, it's time to celebrate the victory. For that bold tactical mindset required to run a business and a defense agency, we suggest French roast from FB Roasters. It's dark, it's smoky, and intense, standing up to any challenge without losing the soul. I like that bag. It's better than the one I actually have, but I digress. And if you need to escape the digital realm for a while, head over to the online bookstore far from Beale Street. We recommend picking up a copy of A Movable Feast by Ernest Hemingway or diving into Star Trek anthology to keep the Section 31 spirit alive. And then if you really slow down, even though right now I'm actually having a gin and San Pellegrino chow lime. You can also do a coffee-inspired espresso martini, but it's too late for that for me. And It's all about perspective. It's all about how to deal with stuff. Because even when you are down, or even when you're up, it seems people will come at you, but it's also how you respond to it. You don't always have to be on 20 on everything, because that's how they really get you. They get you coming, they get you going. They try to backdoor in when you can't pay attention because you on 20. Calm down, take a breath, and then respond. You got time. Because if you too rush, you're going to make a mistake anyways. And that's the word right there.
Slow down the morning, speed up the soul. A world of flavor delivered whole. FB Roasters, your perfect cup, just a click away. Online, on time, oh so bold. Slow down the morning, speed up the soul. A world of flavor delivered whole. FB Roasters, your perfect cup, just a click away. A world of flavor delivered whole. FB Roasters, your perfect cup, just a click away. FB Roasters, your perfect cup, just a click away. FB Roasters, your perfect cup, just a click away.
One day I'm going to learn how to operate Logic Pro correctly. But anyways, I've noticed in the last several weeks since I conceptualized of my Soul of the Valley retreat, people will interact with the intention of a social media post. They'll fill out a form. They'll actually RSVP to a live event, but they won't pull the trigger and actually registering for an event. However, I still get paid either way. If I get enough people to hate watch my videos on YouTube or reels on Instagram, they can hate watch me or just interact with me to a whole different tax bracket online. But I wish people would want to show up live to actually heal. But I guess you got to be cool with that. Meaning, even if you don't come and enjoy the pleasure of eating rainbow trout from Tennessee River, or enjoy Beaton's thick cut bacon for the farewell breakfast, you'll be able to hang out at least online and realize and get FOMO for what you miss in the great videos that I was able to create. So if you want to learn more, navigate to the link which is in the podcast notes, or just interact with my videos. And also just leave a comment wherever you listen to podcasts or wherever you view reels, on LinkedIn to Instagram. And thank you for your support. The long table isn't just for eating. It's the first step in surrendering the weights you've carried up the ridge. We've set a place for you to lay down the hustle and finally pick up the heavy, beautiful silence of the mountain. We start with a prayer, not just a simple gratitude for the plate, but a deep petition for peace. We are asking for permission to turn off the external noise and turn fully toward the stillness of the mountain. Every guest starts here. One card, one singular intention. Name exactly what you are here for. This is your sacred contract with yourself for the next 4 days. Once the ink hits the paper, it is law. The meal is as intentional as the movement we'll find tomorrow. Local rainbow trout, filleted tableside, a culinary reminder that some things in this life simply shouldn't be rushed. This is tactical luxury, served at a much slower, more meaningful altitude. Tonight, there is no agenda and absolutely no performance, just real talk about leading, existing, and finding the center again. We aren't mentors or CEOs here. We're just Dale's angels finally catching our breath. Welcome to the soul of the valley. The table is set. The intention is clear. The ridge is waiting for your return. Now, Baduanjin Qigong, 8 movements, each one a piece of silk for the mind and body. Developed in the 12th century, this practice moves stagnant energy and restores the flow of qi. Movement 1. 2 hands hold up the sky. This opens the triple warmer meridian, regulating the flow of energy through the organs and strengthening the immune system. Drawing the bow, this stimulates the lung meridian, improving the back, legs, arms, and eyesight. Separate heaven and earth. One hand reaches up, one presses down. This harmonizes the stomach and spleen, restoring the body center. The wise owl looks back. A gentle twist of the neck and spine improves circulation through the Dai and Chong meridians, releasing tension in the neck and back. Sway the head and shake the tail. This movement releases excess heat from the heart and regulates the function of the heart and lungs. Drive and clench the fists with fiery eyes. This movement releases tension, builds strength in the arms, waist, and legs, and sharpens the eyesight. 2 hands hold the feet, a deep stretch that strengthens the kidneys, the lower back, and the bones. It treats soreness and restores the waist. Bouncing on the toes, the final piece, a gentle shake that smooths out the qi, balances the body, and returns you to stillness. 8 pieces, 1 practice, a return to the self. The breath is the only bridge in between the rush you stepped away from and the quiet waiting here on the ridge. Golden light warms your skin, mist hugs the valley, and the gong hums beneath it all. You don't need an hour, you don't need a plan. You need these next few minutes and the willingness to come home to yourself. So settle in, let the place hold you, let your breath be the guide. Find your seat, root through your sit bones, lengthen your spine like the mountain behind you. Close your eyes if that feels right. Breathe in through your nose, low into the belly. Feel the ribs widen, chest follow. Hold for a beat, then release through your mouth, soft and long. Shoulders drop. Let each exhale be a little lighter than the last. Again, inhale, belly rises, ribs expand. Exhale, let go. 1 more full breath, steady and gentle. Keep the inhale slow, the exhale soften. Notice the gong beneath each cycle, steady and true. Now add movement with the breath. As you inhale, let your hands float up, palms open as if receiving light. Let the arms lift with ease, shoulders relaxed. On the exhale, guide the palms down, releasing anything heavy. Inhale, lift, feel space in the chest. Exhale, lower. Let tension melt toward the earth. Move slowly, 3 rounds, matching each rise and fall to the gong's cadence. Feel the rhythm build inside you. You're doing beautiful work just by breathing and moving. If you can, rise to standing, root your feet into the grass. Imagine roots reaching down. Inhale, sweep your arms overhead, palms facing the sky, lengthen through the spine. Hold the lift for a breath, then exhale and fold forward from the hips, head heavy, surrendering. Inhale to a flat back. Sweep up, open the chest wide, arms spread like wings. Exhale, fold again, move with intention. The valley holds your breath with you, the gong underscoring each expansion and release. One more standing breath. Inhale deep, arms open wide, chest fully expanding. Feel the lungs fill, the ribs open, the heart soften. Hold here, just hold, sink into the fullness. Notice any edges, breathe into them. The gong swells, carrying the pause. When you're ready, begin a long, slow exhale. Hinge forward, let the breath lead you down, hands to the earth or to your shins, wherever feels steady. Walk your feet back, fold softly, then with an inhale, rise up and return to a seat. Cross your legs gently, rest your hands on your knees, soften the face, close your eyes. Take a moment to notice the change in your body and mind. Now breathe naturally, belly rising, belly falling, no doing, no fixing, just presence. Let the gong fade like a thought drifting away while the calm stays. Carry this steadiness with you off the deck into the day. When your attention wanders, come back here to life, to the bridge of breath. Let calmness settle. Soul of the valley, you made it back. Before the world wakes in the quiet hush that blankets the mountains, there is a space just for you, a moment suspended in time, steeped in the soft, golden light of dawn. Here the air is crisp and still, carrying the promise of a new day. It's an invitation to simply be, to connect with the silence that exists both outside and within. This is where your day truly begins, not with the rush of the world, but with the gentle rhythm of your own breath, a silent conversation with the universe. Inhale, drawing in peace, filling your lungs with the cool, clean air of the summit. Feel the energy of the morning sun warming your skin. And now exhale, releasing all that no longer serves you, letting go of yesterday's worries and tomorrow's plans. With each cycle of breath, you arrive more fully in the present. This is morning clarity. Now carry this stillness with you as you move. Let the tranquility of the mountain infuse every gesture the earth offers its gifts. Rosemary for remembrance of this peace. Ginger for inner fire. Warmth, this is your morning, your ritual, a simple act of nourishment, a ceremony crafted by your own hands. In these quiet moments, you find your morning. In finding your morning, you find yourself. We started with a contract, a single word written in the dark of Thursday night. This morning, we picked those cards back up, not to see if we won, but to see how we've shifted. The intention wasn't a goal, it was a homecoming. The highlight of this morning is the bread ceremony. We don't slice, we break. It's the oldest way of saying I see you. It's the physical act of sharing the work, the rest, and the fulfillment of a weekend. It's messy, it's grounding, and it's holy. Then the fuel for the descent. Benton's bacon, smoked by the mountain air, avocado toast that tastes like the earth itself. Every bite is a reminder that luxury is tactical. It's meant to nourish the empire you're about to go back and lead. You leave the ridge a little softer than you came. The bread is broken, the valley is quiet. Go back, but don't go back to the old you. The soul of the valley stays with you as you enter the new day as a new you. Butterfly in the sky, I can go twice as high. So take a look, it's in a book, a reading rainbow. I can go anywhere. Where's to know and where's to grow, a temporal rainbow. I can be anything. So take a look, it's in a book, a temporal rainbow. A temporal rainbow. A temporal rainbow. Who would have thought 8 years ago when I started my podcast that I would potentially be reaching an audience in the hundreds or even in the thousands, and I could consider or would still be able to record from basically anywhere, from my car, sitting in the bed, still liking what I do. I never would have thought me and my interest in books would actually allow me to dream, to have my own online bookstore, and to consider writing my version of an Octavia Butler's book. But that is something for tomorrow. But in this part, when I decided, through grief, decided to go on a healing journey mentally and creating the retreat, I did not know adding these two authors, B.B. Moore Campbell, which was a no-brainer because of her work in mental health. And she basically passed away from a brain tumor, I believe. Singing in the comeback choir, 72-hour Hole, which I thought was actually too heavy for the retreat itself. But the other no-brainer was Terry McMillan, New York Times bestseller. I did not think that her prose in I Almost Forgot About You, which was probably written not too long out of Waiting to Post Bail, because and how she got her groove back, Stella, I got her groove back. I did not know, because she really she didn't seem right and just seemed just bitter after her very contentious divorce from the doppelganger for Winston Shakespeare, the character in her book, who basically she divorced and she actually had to pay him to get away from her after he came out as either gay or bisexual in the marriage. I'm not sure, but it basically caused their union to break up. She was on man-hating woman cringe for a while, but she's still been creating and continues to create until this day. The whole the whole premise of the book itself is starting over. What is your next chapter? The main character in the book is an optometrist. She has two wild friends, one very happily married, one still living out her thought fantasies. That's Violet, I believe. She's Georgia. They all have children, and she decides that she wants to go back and find closure on her past relationships, find out what these men are doing, and then apologize. Like she's on some type of tour, looking for direction in a life that she just is not that she's a not successful partner in her practice. She just basically just wants other meaning and wants to do those things that she found enjoyable, the creative side of her. Both of her kids are out of the house. One of the kids, Frankie, elopes with her fine boyfriend. And it's kind of funny because she said, "Oh, he reminds me of somebody with his fro and his chocolatey skin." Yes, that was a jump off that you basically dated in college, that you had no intention of marrying, but he was a ne'er-do-well. So, but anyways, like mother, like daughter. But she, in this period of her life, she's thicker, she's wiser, but she's actually very, very cynical. The first thing when I thought of her plan, I was like, that's kind of rude. How you just gonna drop in on these people's lives because you need closure? That's kind of selfish, don't you think? But it kind of makes sense. Sometimes you got to basically close the door on all these paths open, these loose ends, before you can even grow and receive goodness. So it makes sense, even though when I first read it, I was just kind of like, oh, that's kind of selfish. But if that's what she needs to be able to move on and to grow with somebody and to find the love that her mother knows that she actually needs, she needs to do it. She basically buys one of them open tickets that you can basically just hop on and off a train across the country. And then in essence, by her being wandering, she basically was to find herself. She actually had a massive house, but this was sounds like the timing of the book and timing of the the time she put the house on the market, that was when the housing market was shaky, and she lived in San Francisco at the time. So a lot of changes. Her mother gets married. She meets her soon-to-be stepbrother, who they actually went to school with, but she doesn't remember him. She just sees him now as he is, as an older gentleman who's actually really good looking, and they seem to be vibing. And then at the end of the night, she finds out that he's not even available. He's actually supposedly happily married. And she doesn't even know that you could actually vibe with somebody and they could be in a happy relationship. They're just so confident in who they are. They don't want anything from you except for companionship and see what's up with you. It seems like she has gone and had been through, because she had been married twice, divorced twice, the last one being very contentious. But at the same time, I don't think she ever found out or ever learned how to just be a friend to a man, as well, a good friend to a man with no really sexual strings attached. You know, she did not know how to just be there in that capacity, in the platonic capacity. And there's a lot of women that have never learned how to do that. She didn't know. She was stuck on the hurt and what the relationships, how they ended, instead of knowing and remembering the good things and being good about just having those. Knowing that you would never need to circle the block with these people, but at the same time, knowing what the signs to look for, not bringing your baggage to any new relationship, and still being deserving of love, even though whoever you may have picked at that period of time just wasn't right for you at that period of time. And growing, but never not seeking companionship or love because you are too afraid of being hurt. What about taking the good for the bad, taking a chance to be loved, but don't fall and don't fall for anything. You know what I mean? Get out while the getting is good. Don't circle the block or past mistakes. But at the same time, don't ever give up on love because you're just too lazy to go search for it. Or you're too afraid of being hurt. Being afraid of being hurt should not keep you from seeking out companionship and relationship. And that's also one of the great lessons of the book itself. Finding closure and then being able to grow and to heal before you can even decide to move on and go to your second chapter. There's a whole bunch of people walking around in states of unhealedness. And also being able to recognize that and rectify that problem is the challenge of this adult thing. Sometimes adulting is hard, but it's only as hard as you make it. And if you want to learn, and then it won't be so hard. But you got to be willing to learn. You got to be willing to change, and also change for the good. And then throwing away the stuff that no longer serves you, because that also takes guts. My apologies to Henry Mancini, but a riff on the Pink Panther theme is in alignment with a podcast segment dedicated to a fictional PI and all about true crime, or fictional crime in this case. Don't you think? when you up, you up. And when you up, people will come after you for no damn reason. We are in a verify again, and then maybe trust the world kind of thing. And this is basically the crux of a very modern guide to avoiding AI supercharged scams. I've mentioned this in previous segments about what I've been going through for the past couple of weeks. I've had to postpone my retreat that I created out of grief to around the Harvest Moon celebration in October, but I think it's just going to be bigger and better. I was able to get all of the money back from an ad selling Vietnamese clothes. Yeah, y'all, I was scammed almost to the tune of about 7K just in the past couple of weeks with shutting down the account, getting PayPal and Meta and American Express on the Johnny on the spot. I recovered my funds and I realized that some people are not that lucky. I was lucky because I was able to prove that these one, it was my fault, granted. They basically are posing as whatever platform that you on, saying that you have some kind of nebulous, either a copyright infringement or you're giving misleading ads, et cetera, et cetera. And you got to click on this link so they can steal your cookies, your password, and co-opt your account. And then they be running it, y'all. What irks me is I think if my ad had reached the type of impressions that the bogus ad did, I would have had no problems filling up those space. That's why, even though I'm kind of leery about going forward by using social media platforms to get that kind of exposure, because you are exposed, I still am going to be triply and solely careful about who I let in to my realm. I'm going to have to take the precautions, and also two-factor verification will save your life. It's a hassle, but it has to be done because these scammers are relentless and they're shameless. Basically, this article was written by Issy Lepowski. And Issy, you said the damn thing. We got Nigerian princes. They are raking in the cash to a tune of several $billions. $20.9 billion we lost, Americans, to online scams. Even though the FBI is kind of janky at this point in time, but there's a whole internet crime complaint center that has increased. This is a 5-fold increase since 2020. And when AI is in there, the reports are even higher. We're no longer in a trust but verify kind of world because we can't afford that. We got chatbots, we got deep fakes that have reinvented the types of scams out there, and they are running it, y'all. As soon as you basically think you're okay, they basically try to come at you with something else. They're co-opting, they're running through all of your contacts, and they're posing as your contacts to basically still get access to your account. You actually, when you have your business assets this is on the Facebook side, connected to each other, they're going in there creating other profiles. They're going in there using your profile to create other profiles to basically run up the scam for other people, using legitimate means to basically get somebody else sales. I'm just trying to figure out. I know that there are people like me out there in the world that with similar ideas and that want to, not only do I want financial sovereignty, I know they want financial sovereignty. They're basically all into different streams of income, but not necessarily going out there and lifting that barge and toting that bale. And also lifting up humanity in general, but our community specifically. I know that I'm going to have to be open to different ideas and different means to reach those people. because I only want a 1% of them, all of us to be able to band together and all of us to be able to get the scratch in a meaningful and legal way. But as you try to reach out, as you try to go out there for some type of connection, there are people out there with nefarious intent. We got romance scams, some fake identity, and a story that requires you to basically send them money. I'm too cheap for that, so no. Invitations to attend a fabulous event for some special night. Think twice about that, because they even using the kids to basically try to scam you. No, I'm good. Spoofed, no. No, I'm not gonna be able to do that. But that also reminds me, I have to send my friend Janelle's daughter money before she goes off to college. But that's a whole nother story. Also, there's recruiting scams, there's HR scams, there's investment scams. Legit, no reputable trader or financial advisor is going to cold call you or reach out to you by direct message on Instagram. It doesn't work like that. Charles Schwab don't need Joe Schmo from Tallahassee to reach out to you to get you and to piggyback trades and to steal crypto. Girl, bye. Scam, delete, block, report. They got people impersonating people. They got the caller ID spoofing. It just goes on and on and on. You got to create safe passwords and phrases for families. You have to delete cookies. I would shut down your web browsers. Don't click on everything, these advertisements, except for mine. If you see anything what Tim Fro was reading or anything from Tim Fro, check with me, because if you know me, you actually know how to contact me. Before you click on anything, just be careful, because it's more they downloading these viruses that are jacking up your computers, that are freezing up everything, again, stealing your passwords to all your financial information and impersonate you. How I'm going to get my credit is the best it's ever been in years. And now I got all these attacks coming from all, because people want throwing money at you. And while they're throwing money at me, the scammers are in the corner trying to subvert it, so to steal what I've worked so hard to actually get. It is crazy, but we are actually in a golden age of grift. And I'm actually going to start, I think this is one of the first of the segment, because I'm just noticing it. After I just got jacked, but I'm very fortunate that I got all my money back. There's still people out here running these scams, and they're running it for thousands and hundreds of thousands and billions of dollars. What do we have to actually do while the scammers are getting more scammy? And they got a whole song about scamming. And I admit, I've been spin that shit all for the past several weeks. And I'm still playing that song in my head, and I literally just got scammed. But while the scammers now have their anthem of the summer and of the year, let's take a deeper dive in this golden age of grift. We're going to be talking about credit card users using friendly fraud, who's scamming the scammers, and how brands make your favorite products worse. I got to click on that. What the ham sandwich is here? Oh, they sneak in cheaper ingredients to protect their profit margin. Yeah, I kind of realized that. If y'all, this is a big back, FYI. I had to stop going to Captain D's, because they basically changed the formulation or where they were sourcing their fish. They didn't change the formulation of the batter, but that fish it seems like it's particulate and that pressed together. It is worse than McDonald's fish fillet sandwich, believe it or not. So, and it makes me sad, but the prices went up but the quality of the food went down. Why are you going to do that? That doesn't make any sense. It's even more drastic than when Coke changed. Remember, y'all, when Coke changed their formula and then they almost went bankrupt and they basically had to change it back? Why? If you make the changes and stick with it because you want to increase your profit margin, you basically playing in our face and scamming, and I don't have to eat your product. Also, you could keep the product the same and even change the grease, what you frying your stuff in, and you contribute to the maggots. Yeah, I don't need to eat there either. I'm good. I don't need to know how. But these are the types of things I'm going to be taking a deeper dive in the upcoming weeks. This golden age of grift, we don't want them to be spinning it on us, but we all paying for it, which is sad in my not so strong opinion.
Let's calibrate the frequency on this one. The swamp is crowded, full of underfed, frozen-faced predators, snapping at marbles, desperate to be the chosen editors. They call it a lifestyle, but the game is just a rigged simulation. A no-win test designed to force a toxic confrontation. But the operator arrived with a full-blown session. No damsel in this room, no victim waiting for a cape. Just a mogul in the shadows, measuring the shape. Let's calibrate the frequency on this one.
So, who else is a raindrop and not ashamed to say it? Who has watched and get mad because the only time they went dark on a Monday night, Carlos, Claudia, Blue, and Dustin Ross? I'm just tripping out that even though I'm not all that intrigued or impressed by OC, I'll probably continue to hate watch it into another tax bracket. Even though, if y'all look at the recaps with Carlos King and Bubble Lip, oh girl, what is her name? She was actually funny this week. She dressed up like an old lady, and it was just wild that I wonder if Alexis Bellino, that's her name. I call her Bubble Lip. That's still mean. But anyways, I believe she is. And those connected women on the show, I'm not really vibing with that. Really vibing that we're getting some old school vibes back from Real Housewives of Atlanta. Real Housewives of OC never got paused, and they should have probably been paused with that one girl for that season when Tamara was fired, Vicky was gone. And now that girl is beefing with the beautiful Indian princess doctor. Girl, it is hilarious to me. But even when Atlanta got paused for almost 2 years, and then the debacle with Kenya, and then, Britt Eady, who's now saying that she's broke even though she rode past Kenya's store while Kenya was moving out, how fast the tables have turned. Now she's persona non grata and she's just plastic. She's going to explode if she stay in the sun too long, but I digress. I say all of that to say I have started and continue to rewatch Real Housewives of Atlanta. I'm up to season 11. This past week, the recap basically centered on the implosion of the relationship that wasn't. And I firmly believe this. Shamia Morton and Portia Williams Gabadia were never friends. And Shamia basically sold her soul for a peach. Portia Williams evidently was closer to Shamia's sister, who we've seen Shamia's family on the show. We have seen that Shamia came back into the picture when Portia came on the show and she was divorcing Cordell Stewart. They basically have been in each other's circle since they were 14, but the familiarity doesn't necessarily mean that they were dedicated friends. let's be real about it. Shamia was the ultimate and fiercely loyal sidekick for a decade. She jumped into the line of fire. She fought Portia's battles, and she got her hands dirty as a friend of. Remind you that this is when Candy was actually pregnant with Ace and they were down in Miami. I remember Shamia, her body was banging even then, but she was pussy popping on a headstand down in Miami. And now, season 17, she is a full-time peach holder. She's been a full-time peach holder since season 16. But the protection is completely gone. She no longer has the alliance of Candy Burris. And they were closer than she and Portia were. And she authentically always tried to protect her. And Candy ain't studying this show. Candy said, I got too much going on with her own career, the explosion and re-explosion and reinvention that she is. She has her own ish to worry about. She's not studying Real Housewives of Atlanta. And then we're watching everybody circle and pile up on this girl. And what did she do except the only thing that Shamia did was get married, have kids, support her special needs child, have a manor, and then became a full-time peach holder. What else did she do? But the flip side is Portia told her way back years ago when all of this stuff comes, she just said, just be present, just be present. She warned her that, girl, you have everything. You are a star. I just need a friend of right now. And Portia basically told Andy last year, she was like, I told her she wanted her to be on the show. I wanted her to be on the show as a friend. She didn't want that girl to be on the show as a peach holder. If they had not been trying to keep it cute and polite, actually, let's dial that back. If the mamas, when they fell out, had basically said, y'all can't hang out because we ain't cool, we wouldn't be where we are right now. They wouldn't have the same ammunition. And then you gonna act shocked because I'm from the South. If you weren't cool with my family, that goes back to my grandmama. She didn't want people be around her kids that weren't real cool with her. She said, I remember distinctly, my grandmother, I would hear it, oh, Liza think her kids too good for anybody else. Yeah, because she knew how trifling people were. This is way before all the reality TV shows about people basically beating up and killing other people, girlfriend or boyfriend killing the kid, the girlfriend killing the boyfriend's kids. Girl, bye. Ain't nobody got time for that. And if your parents had done that, maybe y'all wouldn't be in this position where y'all are bringing up 20-year-old beef that your mom and them had. The whole show was your mama. But who cares? We're talking about what did Shamia do to you except for become a full-time peach holder on a show that you are on? Why is it so hard? What is that the only egregious thing that she did? How dare she? She had everything and she dared to come on your turf? You didn't want her to? Why didn't you just say that? And y'all could have then just kept it cute. And why, Shamia, she told you that. Why are you so confused? I don't get it. It cracks me up solidly. Shamia was actually, we've known this, that Portia is all about Portia. And she's straight up with it. She gets away with a lot because she got them big doe eyes and that big butt. But at the same time, don't get it twisted. Portia Williams may act stupid, but she ain't stupid. She's very calculated. It's not a bad thing. It makes her a great reality star. She's great at her job. But it would be very difficult to think you could be actually best friends with that. And that's the collusion part of it. She basically told you how she is, and then you went into it saying, if I do all of this stuff, and then will you still love me? Will you still let me lick on your face? No. Now we're equals, and you basically came on the territory, and I told you not to be here. And now you're going to act silly, and that's a form of entitlement and manipulation that I'm not with on both parts. When Shamia married Gerald, Portia skipped the wedding because of some type of, I think she was having severe blood clots or spasms, and she couldn't. That's what I remember, that scene where Carmen and Candy were laughing because Portia couldn't keep her legs at that angle for too long because it would have caused her problems because she had a circulatory problem. It was very transparent, selfish, and everybody clocked it because Portia simply didn't want to travel without somebody else funding her comfort. She went first class, but I guess she couldn't have one of them individual apartments and have and get a salary for it. So she wasn't about that life, because that would have meant Shamia would have had the camera time and she would have had to be filmed and get equal billing, and Portia wasn't about that life. And she said that. And in all honesty, Shamia was actually Fallon's true friend. And it was through Shamia that Fallon got on the show, introduced the world to her itself, as well as Simon, who then Portia set her sights on him. And then when Fallon cheated, got divorced, and then Portia married the fraud that was Simon. And then they broke up. And I still think Portia always played the long game. You think that girl forgive and forget. No, she don't. Because the only probably good thing she got was a couple of great vacations. And she ended up getting control of that house that she actually kept from going into foreclosure. And then Simon was deported. It wasn't forever that she was with her Nigerian prince, but it was for a short time. And what she had got out of it was a nice house, which she actually, at least she got the equity in the house. Ironclad prenup is what saved her this time, because when Cordell broke up with her on Twitter and put her ass out and she went back to her mama's house, she walked away with basically nothing. What I don't understand is some of the new cast, like Angela Oakley, and even Cynthia Cheekbones Bailey is piling on to this girl over something. The only thing that she keeps bringing, she brought up initially, was Shamia's mom made a great business decision. She was not crazy enough to basically give her the money and not be a partner. She basically saw the opportunity, bought the business legally. It wasn't like she sneaked her out of it and kept it pushing. Sorry. Just because, and do I think that given the same opportunity that Miss Diane would have given her the benefit? No. What I don't agree with is the snaky and sneaky comments Miss Diane has been saying for the last 2 seasons underneath her breath because of the beef that she had 20 years ago with Shamia's mama. Why the nuclear of it all? Shamia thought by her sucking Portia's ass for the last decade, that would have given her street cred, that would have given her more access and closeness on the level of Lauren Williams. And it didn't. When Portia was going through her highly public and humiliating divorce from Cordell in 2013, she was lost. As I said, she lost herself as that elite housewife even though she was willing to be Cordell Stewart's beard. That was the whole story back during that time. As she began to find her footing on Real Housewives of Atlanta, she leaned heavily into her wild single girl area, and that's where Shamea re-entered the picture as her partner in crime. Shamea was fun, loyal, and willing to throw hands for Portia, and Lauren, who was trying to build a legitimate business and brand around her, viewed Shamea as that chaotic, toxic distraction. For years, there was a Cold War between Lauren and Shamea, and I just realized that. We see Shamea bringing over her oldest daughter and Portia bringing over Pilar. And at the time, Lauren's daughter was older than both of those girls, but I don't recall a time when all of them were all together, even on Portia's short-lived podcast. I don't remember any of that. And Portia and Lauren had their massive falling out on camera, but once Lauren got pregnant and Portia realized that she couldn't survive without her family, they made up. And then once they were locked back in, Shamea was basically pushed back to hired help status and a fun accessory to be used for filming but never allowed into the true inner circle. And it looked like the only person that wasn't in on that team was Shamea, because she thought, it sounds like she literally thought she was closer or as close to Portia as her sister. But Portia was like, nah, girl, it ain't that kind of party. You've seen us fall out, me on camera, but it ain't that kind of party, which I felt was very hurtful. When Phaedra manufactured that lie that Shamea was sleeping with both Candy and Todd, who are now divorced, Phaedra also targeted Shamea, spreading the highly damaging rumor that Shamea was sleeping with them. And Portia knew Shamea was innocent, but she sat there and chose her reality TV storyline with Phaedra over her real-life sisterhood, only one-sided with Shamea. We've seen it time and time again from season 9 all the way to season 17. She's going to do her job. She's going to collect her bag, Portia Williams. Why do you think it would be any different? And now, why would it be different that both of you are peach holders? Do you think she was going to just dramatically turn into a real life friend and give up millions, hundreds of millions of dollars for a fair weather friend? Nah, girl, she was never going to do that. When Portia's marriage fell apart amid Simon's fraud scandals and then ICE deportation proceedings, Portia was embarrassed. Shamea was constant and a walking reminder of how Portia got into that mess in the first place, even though it sounds like she was kind of acting thirsty to get introduced and get Fallon on the show and then scoop up, saw her opportunity to get with the wealthy African at the demise of Simon and Fallon's relationship. Instead of taking accountability, Portia projected that embarrassment onto Shamea. Because she don't forget. She just get mean. Shamea also is playing a long game. She's trying to be polite, trying to keep it cute. And then she's bringing actual receipts, which actually nobody really cares about right now. We understand that your mother made a very smart business decision. You got a business at a prime location for pennies, and you made it great. Cool. But if all you got is somebody else making money because your parent couldn't figure it out, you're going to have to come with something stronger. And you also can't be mad day and bring up somebody's previous sexual shenanigans just because you are mad at them in this moment for that reason. You're getting on my nerves. I know other fans are experiencing whiplash, and I also know the executives are also thinking about ratings, revenue, because Portia is expensive. She has a multi-streams of income that they are paying her a grip for. Do you think they won't basically sit her black ass down because she's costing them even more money and harm, and she's more expensive than what she's actually bringing to the table? Oh no. Ask Teresa Gudici and them over in Jersey. Ask Ramona and them, the OGs from New York. They will sit you down. Ask Miami. They gonna sit you down and you may or may not come back. Right now, the best eras of Real Housewives of Atlanta work because even when they were screaming at each other, they could turn around 5 minutes later and get a hilarious read and laugh at themselves. When you take away the humor and replace it with generational family warfare, malicious parenting attacks, endless vitriol, we get tired and exhausted, and it shows up on your ratings. It shows up with you crashing out in the blogs. We don't want to hear about anybody else being investigated and bringing the mess to the show. We don't care. Because we know when Bravo decides to clean house entirely, both of them are going to be on the outside of the club looking in. Portia spent a decade letting Shamea fight for her. And then she's basically going nuclear by pulling out some 20-year-old family dispute and painting Shamea as some unsafe around her child. And then she's going to basically be able to compartmentalize and forgive Phaedra Parks because she has to keep the story along and get along to get on because they are TV friends. Drew Sidora, same thing. Angela Oakley, Kelly Farrell, Yes Women Backup Dancers, same thing. K. Michelle is crazy. Pinky Cole, she's kind of out of the loop because she's get off somewhere giving a TED talk. But what y'all don't know is if y'all don't keep it cute, y'all fitting to get the Jersey treatment. Y'all have worked too hard to get back to what makes good reality TV, and y'all are missing the whole point about this nonsense and getting ready to be paused because y'all cannot get it together and keep this nonsense. She didn't do anything so bad for you to, if the only thing you got is some stuff y'all mamas did, we don't care. So y'all gonna need to basically squash it. Basically be realistic that y'all are never gonna be friends again. And y'all got some dirt on each other. Cool. We don't need to see it if y'all not going to keep it just between y'all. I don't need this other off-camera mess anymore. I don't need this back and forth if y'all not going to come to some resolve because y'all are really tipping on the edge of being paused because we tired. I know these execs are tired and they're tired of cashing the check if all you gonna bring is nonsense. And that's the word right there. Sorry, not sorry. Get it together before all of y'all missing the check. And then what would be the point? Because the only one that is still got paid is because she's still married to Gerald. If he don't listen and don't believe the hype, Shamea's just going to go back to her palace and still keep it cute and be hosting the Hawks and the Atlanta Falcons and hanging out with Candy and them on a boat somewhere. So, girl, y'all need to pipe down and just admit you didn't really want her on the show as a peach holder. Y'all ain't friends. Y'all, Gerald and Dennis will probably still kick it, but all of y'all are not going to be all up in each other's face anymore. Your kids are not going to grow up together because it's not going to happen. And keep just being cool away from each other. Why is that so hard for y'all to realize? It's okay to be cool separately. You can take the girl out of the hood, but you can't take hood music out the girl. But I'm going to end this with a word, just as I started this podcast. Do or do not do. There is no try. And that's a word from Yoda. I hope I have conveyed just how much fun I have had in creating this podcast. I've got my mojo back. Just set your intention or reset your intention. It could be daily if necessary. Mine is peace. No mental dumping over here. If I'm acting like I'm not listening, I'm probably not. I'm not your therapist. I'm not a therapist. Keep the crazy to yourself, child. You do you and leave me be. The sooner you figure that ish out, the happy you will be. So this is what I want to convey in this podcast. And that wraps another of FAFFO has a fro. Join me next time as I throw shade and point out the shade and simply have fun. Y'all have a great new year. What, y'all? What?